The Spokane Police Department is admitting the officer accused of beating Otto Zehm with a nightstick violated departmental policies regarding the use of force. In a sworn affidavit, Assistant Chief Jim Nix wrote the officer's actions, quote, were not appropriate and were unreasonable under the circumstances. KXLY4's Jeff Humphrey is live at the Zip Trip where the fatal incident happened back in 2006. And Jeff, the chief's statements are just the opposite of what police had been saying up to this point.
Robin, it's obvious that Chief Jim Nix doesn't think the use of force here was justified, and if his opinions are correct, it could greatly undermine Karl Thompson's criminal defense and meanwhile strengthen the lawsuit filed against the city of Spokane by Otto Zehm survivors. It started when two women called 911 to report a suspicious man that may have stolen some of their money from an ATM. Officer Karl Thompson chased the suspect inside this Zip Trip, where he says the man, later identified as Otto Zehm, took up a fighting stance and tried to punch the patrolman.
I'm very comfortable that the officers confronted a hostile individual, somebody who wasn't listening for whatever reason. They had a duty and obligation to stop and detain him.
Zehm had a heart attack and stopped breathing after he was handcuffed face down on the Zip Trip floor. 3 days after Zehm's autopsy, police called a news conference and said Zehm had brought the beating upon himself.
As you know, he was reported to be schizophrenic, which he apparently had medication prescribed to them. There's also no sign of those medications in the system as well, which would have perhaps controlled his behavior in this circumstance.
But now Assistant Chief Nix is saying it's Officer Thompson's behavior that was out of line. In a sworn affidavit, Nix writes that based on security video, Otto Zehm is retreating the entire time that Officer Thompson is advancing on him and attacking him with his baton. That Thompson's use of his baton was not an appropriate or authorized use of force within the Spokane Police Department policy, since Zehm did not reasonably appear to be assaultive toward Thompson. The chief's new affidavit does not criticize the way officers restrained Zehm once he was on the ground, but 4 months after Zehm's death, even after surveillance video showed alleged inconsistencies in Officer Thompson's statements, Nix was still saying the use of force was justified.
All I can tell you is that our officers follow training, they follow policy, and they follow the law.
Now, the chief's new affidavit comes at a time when the United States Attorney's Office is about to take Karl Thompson to trial for allegedly violating Otto Zehm's rights and then lying to investigators about what happened. Today, Spokane's mayor says this new information has her rethinking the way that she may handle that lawsuit, Robin, filed by Otto Zehm's family.
And Jeff, how does this figure into the upcoming trials?
Well, as far as the civil lawsuit is concerned, you've got the #2 guy at the Spokane Police Department in charge of all training saying that this officer allegedly violated training procedures. That easily puts Spokane, the city of, liable for Otto Zehm and what happened to him. In a criminal case, if your boss came in and said, yes, he violated company policy, and then he allegedly lied about it, that is also going to carry a lot of weight with the jury. And because Chief Nix ran this affidavit past Chief Kirkpatrick as part of a peer review, Chief Kirkpatrick herself, even though she wasn't working for the city at the time, could be called as a witness at this trial, Robin, coming up in October.